Hey guys, I saw this game Rise online and I've decided to give it a shot and share with you my first experience with the game, so let's find out if it's good or bad. Remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. I have a concern about the game, whether I can find people for group content, and also that the game is connected with some sort of cryptocurrency which gives me a negative vibe, but I'm not going to judge too soon. Rise Online is a free-to-play fantasy MMORPG made from a Turkish studio. So far the community is mostly Turkish as well, which means it's gonna be difficult for me to find people to play with, but we will find out. About the story, it looks interesting. It has some elements from Sumerian legends, but I'm not concerned too much with the storyline in video games. In short, it's about a race called Protein, or Protein if it sounds better for you, who are basically humans and are immortal and keep on reincarnating, but some of them don't like it and they are turned into orcs who are called Lunaskar. That's how a conflict arises between the two factions, both of which resemble World of Warcraft factions. For character creation, you got the two factions to choose from, and that affects only the storyline, quests, and starting zones. Okay, that's a small downside, because you can't really experience the other one unless you create a new account. So let's just go with Lunaskar. After this, we have classes, which are pretty standard and they're divided into subclasses. First you got Rogue, which is divided into Assassin for close combat and Archer for bow and arrow, I guess. Then we have Warrior split into Attacker and Defensive, or DPS and Tank. Next one is Priest, which has three subclasses: Buffer, who I assume buffs others, a Debuffer, which sounds like the opposite, and a Healer, which is self-explanatory. The last class is Mage, divided into 4, maybe 3 elements, which I suppose are mostly DPS but have their own place in certain situations. They're Fire, Ice, Lightning, and maybe Arcane. The last one is not shown on their website but only written down, and I haven't played it, so I can't confirm or deny its existence. I have to admit that I like the monster design in game, they look funny. This is very weird. This mix of like 5 different animals or something. This looks cool as well. Triple head. This would be badass if you can have it as a mount. This looks pretty neat as well, super weird. I was frustrated when during character creation, somehow I turned off my user interface and had no idea how to turn it back on, so I had to reset the game.
A few moments later.
Also, the game had a couple of crashes from start, but I decided to switch from DX12 to DX11 and it seems like we don't have a problem. The customization is alright, not much, but it's alright. First thing I do is to set up my controls and settings. And I realized that RTX 4070 struggles to keep 60 FPS in a game on Unreal Engine 4, which is 10 years old, which is weird. The graphics are okay, but the game is not well optimized, regardless if you run it on DX11 or DX12. As for controls, you can't combine multiple keys for keybind, so you're limited to about 20 keys on your keyboard unless you have alien long fingers. And while you can use WASD for movement, it's kind of very stiff and clunky, so most likely you end up using mouse clicking. Not ready for old school game, you have stat and skill points to allocate per level, and it's free to reset them early game. You will start with generic quests of kill X number of enemies, and we'll do this for a long time. So soon after you start, you will find a neutral capital city called Dorian and move on from there to main questing zones depending on your faction. So far the combat looks pretty basic and you have few abilities to use that look similar, and the only thing that changes is the damage numbers. Also, there is not much indication on screen besides my damage. I don't see enemy damage nor other procs that may or may not happen, like dodge, miss, heal, etc. Or maybe they just don't exist. In the future you need to upgrade your items, which looks like a standard pay-to-win system with low chance of success and chance to destroy your items maybe, which kinda sucks. Okay, so it's one of these games, right? You can just upgrade stuff and destroy them while you try to upgrade. So far the leveling is kinda easy but boring. For the first 4 hours I've got to level 27 and the only thing I was doing is questing. Also, I don't see any tutorials in game, so you're gonna have to use your imagination. On the second day I continued questing, which slowly and surely becomes mundane. That's pretty rough, man. I'm using 1 potion per minion, so I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, to be honest. I also realized that in Rise Online I have to use healing potions as often as my main abilities. At least the game provides you with potions in abundance. I finally found someone to play with, and of the few players I met they all seemed friendly, which is good. It's just rare to find low level players. You're a priest. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. Thanks for the buffs. So that's gonna be way easier now. Also, I've just got dash view with macro protection, which pops on every once in a while. So I wonder if it's random or I just press too many buttons too fast. It's basement 6, 1, 0, 0. Wait, what? Oh my god, it's this crazy, man. I was wondering how much time I need to reach max level, and then there is this guy. On the 3rd day, me and the new friend in-game went to a new place called Narun Tower, which is basically a dungeon with floors based on your level. You can do it solo, but it's way easier with a party. This helped me to level up a bit, but soon I reached the cap for my level and had to go back in the open world. At this point, when I was level 52, the only thing I've got left are quests for killing enemies way above my power level, and it seemed almost impossible to continue without a party, even in the open world. When I tried to explore other ways to level up, I found that there are dungeons, however blocked by a paywall. To access dungeons, you must have premium, which is basically a monthly subscription. The game probably has more to offer, but this is as far as I've reached at the moment. The new player experience is quite hardcore after level 50 and the max level is 85. So in the end, I will probably continue for a while, but sadly I can't recommend this game for a long-term play, since the leveling is almost impossible unless you help yourself with real money, and also quite boring to only do quests. Also, it seems that it's not well optimized for high-end PC. Also, I just found out that Rise Online is basically something like a remake of Night Online, which is a much older game that I haven't played before. In my opinion, it may help for new players to access the game if the studio was to release the dungeon content as a one-off payment DLC instead of a premium feature, but so far the quality of the game reflects to the player base, which looks kinda small. Thanks for watching and see you next time.